Hello, my name is Mactics, and today I'm bringing you my long version of the FALLEN S.A.B.E.R Grandmaster Nightfall guide. If you're looking for a shorter guide, you can find my 6-minute guide on the Grandmaster Nightfall linked in the description below. However, if you're looking for a more all-inclusive piece of advice, this is what you want to be watching. I can almost all but guarantee a completion of this Grandmaster Nightfall if you watch the entirety of this guide and follow the things that you learn. It's going to be a little bit different from your more traditional guide. I don't have a script. I'm not going to edit this heavily. I'm just going to kind of talk over a successful run that we had and give you all of the information possible. So starting out, we're getting on the Warsaw, and this Warsaw part is a part that some teams have trouble with, but I'm going to show you how to make it really, really easy. So the key with the Warsaw part is to, number one, make sure that you are killing the turrets on the ships at all times. There's a total of 4 ships that spawn during the Warsaw part, 1 on the coastline, a set of 2 that come in the back area near the hive structures, and then the 4th one appears in the exact same location in the coastline. The turrets on these ships will one-shot you, and they will snipe you no matter where you are. Destroying the turrets with your snipers and your bows is going to be super, super, super important. So I recommend shooting the ship, which will make it'll make its turrets pop out, whether or not it's aggroed to you, and then you can fire away on the turrets and destroy them. The other key piece of information for this Warsaw part is making sure that no one is inside of the Warsaw circle progressing the transmat when there are enemies alive. You can make this part very, very easy by only being inside of the circle when all of the enemies are dead. This is because the enemy ad spawns are based on the transmat percentage in the Warsaw. So if no one is standing in the Warsaw transmatting it, then no ad progression is being had, which means you can deal with the ads in isolated waves, making it significantly easier to deal with this part. Because then you can play on certain sides of the map, you won't get swarmed and pinched from multiple angles like you might be used to. If you're trying to rush the Warsaw, it just makes it a lot more manageable. So that first wave is going to have a bunch of miscellaneous ads, but the most notable one that it's going to have is an overload captain. Right before the ship leaves, it will spawn the wave with the overload captain, and then the ship will leave, and then progressing the Warsaw will bring in the set of 2 ships that go towards the hive structures. And so this is just a key example right here of why you want to make sure you deal with all the ads before you progress it. We would not want to be dealing with the 2 more ships coming in, destroying their turrets, while also dealing with that Warsaw, or overload captain, I'm sorry. So just a very clear, very clear reason why you should, progress it in chunks. So number 1 priority here is we're taking out the turrets on both ships, and these 2 ships initially spawn 3 Vandal snipers that will like to run up to this little overhang on the right here. These guys one-shot and they're very dangerous, so make sure you're focusing them after you take out the turrets on the ships. You also get an arc sword captain, which he'll just run at a straight line at you, so if your only arc weapon is anarchy, you're perfectly fine there. Speaking of anarchy, let's use these next couple of waves to talk loadouts. I highly recommend a kinetic sniper, like the raid sniper, a bow. My personal favorite is the Imperial Needle from this season. Mine has Frenzy and Archer's Tempo. It's fantastic. And anarchy. You can use other loadouts if you want. Izanagi's Burden with a rocket launcher would be fine. I've heard good things about Risk Runner. I've heard good things about Two-Tailed Fox. This is simply what worked for me. And it worked really, really well for me over the course of about 20 runs, I believe I've done so far. If you want to use something else, if you're more comfortable using something else, by all means go for it. I've heard plenty of things work here. Just because I recommend a loadout doesn't mean that's the only thing that's good for this. I'm just giving you my personal recommendation. The reason I'm giving you this recommendation is because this Nightfall is very, very light on shields. There is a grand total of 3 Void shields and 2 arc shields. There are 0 solar shields. I know a lot of people are saying, oh, it is the hot knife modifier in the master difficulty. All of the Shanks had solar shields. None of the Shanks have any shields of any kind in the Grandmaster variant. I don't know if that's a bug. I don't know if Bungie meant for that to happen, but the matter of the fact is there are 0 solar shields across the entire thing. The 3 void shields are this servitor right here that I just shot at in the Warsaw area, coming down from the first wave in the 4th ship, and the other 2 are directly before the boss. so very easy to deal with. The arc shields are from the 2 arc captains in the Warsaw area. So once you get past the Warsaw, 0 arc shields for the rest of the strike. And pretty much no shields for the rest of the strike until the pre-boss area, where it's just 2 servitors and then like a couple of shanks that spawns. They're very easy to deal with. Dealing with elemental shields is not your concern here. Obviously, be running Overload Bow and Anti-Barrier Sniper to deal with shields. And then for subclasses, I highly recommend Omnioculus with Bottom Tree Night Stalker for Hunter, or Stasis Hunter can work very well too. Well of Radiance for Warlocks, or Stasis for Warlocks, I've seen works very well. And Ursa Furiosa Titan. However, I highly recommend a Well of Radiance Warlock, and you're going to see exactly why here. This part can get a little chaotic. I like to start by putting a Well of Radiance down behind the left box and sniping the Exploder Shanks. Next, I like to snipe the 4 Vandal Snipers in the back of the room. Now, there's a barrier servitor that tethers to them that makes them immune, but if you're inside a Well of Radiance, you can shoot through immunities, which makes dealing with these Vandal Snipers a hell of a lot easier. About 10 seconds into this room, you're going to have a ton of Sword Vandals and Marauders that run at you, so you want to throw a ton of Anarchy on the ground. If you're not using Anarchy, you can throw grenades and things of that nature. Just be careful for all of the mobs that rush you. After you clean up all of that stuff, you've just got an Overload Captain in the back and a Barrier Servitor in the back, followed by a couple of miscellaneous Vandals that have the arc bolt guns, not the wire rifles, but the ones where the little tracking bullets. I can't remember what they're called off the top of my head, but you get the idea. This area is all about chaining your supers, chaining your Well of Radiance with Phoenix Protocol, chaining your Ursa Furiosa Code of the Commander, using Tether if necessary, using a Hunter Stasis Super if you have it, using a Warlock Stasis Super. Those Vandal Snipers are #1 priority though, and if you don't have an easy way to take them out, stay behind the box. You're going to take out this Barrier Servitor, and then you're going to have 4 Tracer Shanks that come up from underground. Deal with those first. You're then going to have a second Overload Captain spawn, and this one is going to run at you. It is going to rush at you relentlessly. It'll teleport to your direct right. It'll teleport right in front of you. Nuke this one first. This thing is super dangerous, and he is the first thing that you want to kill. Next, you have the second Overload Captain, and he's significantly more mild, so a little bit easier. The reason, by the way, that I love bows more than SMGs here is because bows are so reliable for stunning Overload Captains. You pull the arrow back all the way, you shoot it, you know that it will 100% stun. The other option, which is an SMG, you have to get through about half of the mag before you're going to get that Overload round. It's just so much less reliable, and in my opinion, that's what makes bows so much better for Overload enemies than SMGs, even if SMGs offer a little bit better ad clear potential. Anyway, we're going to kill that fuse right there. We're going to drop a Well of Radiance behind this left pole. We're going to get some Exploder Shanks out of the ground, some Sword Marauders, 2 Overload Captains, and most important, some Tracer Sniper Shanks that come out of the back left of the arena, where you're going to progress after you clear this area. Make sure you figure out where those Sniper Shanks are. You definitely want to kill those. They are very lethal. They like to hide back there in either the far back left, or sometimes they'll coast a little bit over to the middle back area. Once you kill those and you kill the rest of the Marauders and all that, you're good to go. You're very safe. You can take out the 2 Overload Captains with your bows slowly but surely, and you'll be perfectly fine. This room, in my personal opinion, is probably the hardest part of the strike. Once you get past this room, you're in the clear. I think the Warsaw area is very, very easy if you use the strategy that I gave you, where you just take care of the adds and packs. And I think the boss room is also pretty easy because you can play on the back left side of the arena the entire time. Once you get past that room, you're pretty much in the clear. So the Arc Beam room with the charge. You have 2 Sniper Shanks that spawn down the lane, so make sure you take care of them first. They hit very hard, they're scary, so be very careful. If you have an Invis Hunter on your team with Omnioculus, you are about to see a strategy that will make this thing so easy. And honestly, even if you don't have Invis, you can make this part pretty easy. It just requires a little bit more effort. So first, on screen, you're going to see the one with Invis. You're going to grab the charge. Once I see that beam on my right past me, I'm going to throw down smoke, and I'm going to jump on the wall to get some better velocity. I'm then going to throw down a second smoke. I'm going to switch my weapons to drop the ball, throw down a second smoke, pick it up again. That will keep me invisible the entire time. And then I'm good. I don't have to deal with any of the shanks. I don't have to worry about anything. My teammates were just sitting in the previous room. They weren't touching anything. They weren't worrying about anything. I was doing that part completely by myself. It's super safe. If you don't have an Invis Hunter, you can still employ the jump and hit your head on the wall to gain a little bit of velocity idea to kind of outrun the arc beams. You'll just need teammates that are, you know, kind of keeping an eye on you and making sure not to shoot any exploder shanks that are directly next to you. So this next room, we're going to just chain supers, use them to kill everything, start out with the Overload Captain and the Exploder Shanks. After you take those guys out, you're going to have a Barrier Servitor that spawns, as well as some miscellaneous other enemies, a couple more Exploder Shanks, and some Sniper Tracer Shanks. So try and nail that Barrier Servitor if you can, and then take out the Sniper Shanks and all of the miscellaneous other enemies. You are then going to get 2 Overload Captains, a couple of Sword Marauders that rush you, some Wretches that are going to rush you, a lot of melee enemies, so just keep an eye, and some of them are invis, so important to just keep an eye out and be careful of them. This room's not too bad though, just, you know, play it safe, stay back, make sure nothing's pushing you, and if something is, you know, rushing at you really, really hard, then, you know, make sure that you're kind of playing back a little bit. So we're just going to clean up this last Overload Captain. There's a couple of Wretches spawning in the back right now. These rooms where it's, you know, very packed with ads, it's just primarily about chaining supers, you know? If you have a Well of Radiance Warlock, have them use that, and then your Ursa Titan can use their super next, or maybe you have a Stasis Warlock that can use their super to get a little bit more ad clear. It's all about playing off of each other's orbs of light. This tunnel right here for the next room, we want to get a Well of Radiance down directly in front of the tunnel. I'm not sure if we had one up at this time, but if you don't, you want to be very careful with this area because you have a Barrier Servitor and you have 3 major Vandal Snipers that will hurt very much. Remember, if you have that Well of Radiance down, that Barrier Servitor's immunity beams don't do anything. If you see those Vandal Snipers pop out, you just pop them in the head. Doesn't matter if the Servitor has an immunity tether on them while you're in a Well of Radiance, you can hit right through it. And that's why I think a Well of Radiance is so amazing for this Grandmaster Nightfall. Our team composition, by the way, here is one of each class. If you didn't notice, Omnioculus Hunter, Well of Radiance Warlock, and Ursa Furiosa Titan. Although I find that you can run through it with pretty much any class composition. I've done it with triple Hunter, I've done it with triple Titan, triple Warlock. My favorite class composition to run through it with, though, is 1 Warlock and, 1 Hunter and 2 Warlocks. That's my personal favorite, but, you know, use whatever works for you. So this area, we're just cleaning up the rest of the ads. There are 3 Overload Captains. I recommend just selecting one with your team and all focusing it and weaving in and out of cover as you shoot your arrows. Make sure to continuously keep your bow shots on them to make sure that you're stopping their health regen, even if they're not available for stun yet. And yeah, it's, you know, not too bad at all. Pretty simple. If you have Aeon Souls on any of your Guardians, by the way, you can use like the last 1 or 2 Overload Captains. You can finish with them if you're low on Anarchies or heavy ammo or anything like that, and you can get topped off right before the boss fight, feel a little bit better about your ammo going into the boss fight. This boss fight's not too bad though, and it's not going to require a lot of ammo on your part. The boss doesn't have very much health at all, especially compared to Ignavoon from the Proving Grounds, who is a very tanky boss. This boss is pretty weak. So we're going to start off by just shooting arrows at the servitors and whatnot. There's a servitor on the left and the servitor on the right, so you can just kind of split your team and focus on them individually. A few small shanks will spawn out of the same window as well, so just kind of clean those up. And the boss encounter will start when this room is completely empty. So we're just kind of chipping away at our servitors. And the way we're going to start the boss room is he starts with his sniper out, which will one-shot you, even through a well, so you got to be very careful. We're going to start behind this middle box right here. And we're just going to tag him up with Anarchies, and we're going to snipe his turbines. We're trying to burn him here. We want to phase him out of that first 25% of HP as soon as humanly possible. And then we're going to have Shanks spawning to our left as well, so immediately after we phase him out, we're focusing on the Shanks. We're staying crouched behind that little middle area while we're killing the Shanks so that the boss doesn't have a line of sight on us, because he can still shoot you when he's in his immunity state. But we're clearing out that area, and then we're moving over to the left. This is where we're going to stay for the rest of the fight. These little, you know, whatever you want to call them, rectangular pads or whatever, are very, very safe. and they never move after this part in the fight. This is by far the safest place to be in the arena. Sure, you have some shanks that'll spawn behind you, or where I'm currently positioned to my left, so just have one player completely focus those, or just make sure you turn your head to the left every now and then to check on them, but it's very, very safe back here. After you kill the barrier servitor, the boss is going to come out of immunity, and you're going to be able to do another 25% of his health. So go ahead and tag him up with anarchies, hit him with some sniper shots, blah, blah, blah. Make sure you're still watching your back for the shanks that are spawning. And here you can just chain supers. If you only have one well of radiance, I recommend saving it for the final 50% of the boss's health. But, you know, chain supers there, stay safe. There's really not a lot of stuff that can hurt you. Once you send him into his second immunity phase, you're going to have 2 sniper tracer shanks that spawn out of the right side of the arena from the ceiling. So have one player just focus them. I'm killing them here right now. Just keeping my sniper scope on them, making sure they die instantly. And, you know, that's very safe as long as you know what order to deal with the adds in. Next, we have the barrier servitor that we're just going to take out. I'm just smoke bombing myself so I can run around and get some sniper ammo real fast. But once you kill this barrier servitor, it's melt time because the boss is going to come back out. His first 25% out of this phase, his face mask is going to be his crit spot, just like all heavy shanks. Once you get 25% of his HP down, he's going to be his chasing arc form, though. So be on the lookout for that. He's just going to run at you, basically. But we found that if you just stand in this back left area of the map where our well is currently placed, he doesn't really run at you. Like, he has a tough time getting to you, and he bugs out, and he can't really figure out how to approach you. So just keep your anarchies on him, stay back, and if he's not pushing you, no reason to move. And it's a very easy burn. You'll have some explorer shanks coming to your right. You'll have one sniper shank from the top right and left of the ceiling spawn in here and there, but it's not too bad at all. It's a very easy boss melt. It's not too bad. If you want help with this run, feel free to drop by my Twitch stream at twitch.tv/Mactics. I go live every weekday at 4 p.m. Eastern, and I do carries of this live on my stream. You can also ask me questions about this Grandmaster Nightfall there whenever you want. If you want LFG teammates to run this with, you can join my Discord server linked in the description. We have an LFG channel there, and the nice thing about that LFG channel is the teammates that you get will all have seen these videos and know the same exact strategies that you do. We also pride ourselves on having a group of folks that are very kind. No one's ever going to be rude to you. No one's ever going to yell at you for messing up. It's just, we're here to play the Grandmaster Nightfall together, and that's it. So I hope you enjoyed this guide video. If you did, please consider leaving a like and subscribing. It would help me out a great deal. Consider sharing it with a friend if you think it could help them. And have a fantastic rest of your day.